It is Yagiz from DOMiNO Ventures. You know that we have been doing that BetterFuture Talks series with the VCs and the global VCs from the emerging markets and also for the startups. So today we are with Adil from Big Sky Capital. Hello, Adil. How are you? Everything is well?
Hello, Yagiz. Yes, doing all right. It was a good
Super.
day. Still continue working. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah. After eight, everything is perfect. I mean, the weather also perfect in Istanbul. Where are you? I mean, where are you right now? I guess you're in Singapore.
I'm in Kuala Lumpur now, Malaysia. Yeah, my family is based here. We have an office in Singapore, so I fly back and forth between two.
Super. Super. So, I have some questions about Big Sky and you. Let's begin. Adil, could you please first tell us more about the Big Sky Capital and your personal journey into venture capital? What inspired you at the VC side, and how was your journey about the venture capital and startups? So, the speech is yours, please.
Uh, well, it's a long story, actually, to be honest. I've been in investments, mostly private equity, since 2008 or so. Spent first 3, 4 years doing that, working closely with banks, with different groups, as well as in the national holding. And then 2010, I started to think about the continuation of my career, and then met I2B Global, which is a US-based company, VC company that at the time was investing in Eastern Europe, all across Russia, Central Asia, everywhere, and they were in the verge of raising their first fund to Central Asia. They offered me a position of the head of the office slash investment director, and I joined the team in 2011 as startup. Since then, I'm in venture capital business. We managed to raise another fund for the region, early stage, was one of the endowment funds, and we've been investing ever since venture capital. I eventually become a partner with ITBF Global. We did very good deals. Had $50 million fund for the region, late stage deep tech, transfer of technology kind of stuff, and then early stage digital fund based on an accelerator. Both did well actually. Had some good exits. Returned the money to the LPs. One company did an IPO within that period. Um, Overall, I mean, a good traction, good experience. I got excited about the deals. I got excited about founders. I found it very challenging, but at the same time, you learn a lot. I found most of the founders better than me in one way or another. Either they know more about technology, or they know about science, or they know more about business. And I keep learning from each and every interaction, and I feel myself blessed and feel myself lucky to be in this particular profession. Shortly, I joined the National Welfare Fund by Gere since 2018. The time ITBF Partners bought me out. I stayed there until the end of 2021. That's when we launched the VC fund of funds for the region. I was an independent director. Was Astana Hub at the time when it was launched in 2018.
Mhm.
Did a lot of work that I call national service time for myself. That's when we first invested as an LP and as a country, as a governmental agency, into 500 startups, into Quest Ventures, into did funds with ADQ, with some other players. The main idea was to connect the Central Asian region, with the rest of the ecosystems. So we co-anchored several funds like that, which then set up the stage for early stage investments and then acceleration programs, and et cetera, et cetera. Jointly with Astana Hub and IFCA, three of these structures led to what we have now. 2021, in the end of the year, I quit my job. I decided to go back to market. I invested 17 companies as an angel investor. And in the fall of 2022, launched Big Sky Capital together with my partner, Jean. Jean is based out of US in Miami. We raised our first fund by January 23. We started investing in the region, opened our other offices, one in Singapore, one in Miami, and one in Almaty. So covering three regions. Actively investing B2C, B2B, sorry, B2B SaaS, B2B enterprise. That's vertical SaaS. That's our theme and was and is and will be, I guess. This is something we understand. We will continue focusing on the very different verticals.
Super.
So far invested many companies in Central Asia, a lot of immigrant founders to US, and quite a few companies in Southeast Asia now.
Super. Super. Congrats, Adil. When we, as a Domino, when we first decided to invest, like 1.5 years ago, decided to invest in Central Asia, when I come to Kazakhstan and the region, when I talk with the founders, I ask them questions about so who is the biggest VC? Who is the, the best VC for you in the region? Who is the most helpful VC in the region? So that kind of questions I always ask to founders, because to understand, to learn the ecosystem. Then maybe all of them they mentioned about you. So we know that you are really helpful about the startups after investment. So I wonder that how do you, collaborate with the founders, and how do you evolve their process? How do you support them? I wonder how also actually you have teams. So how do you evolve the startups that you invested? This is my question.
Uh, our, I guess, values and the approach with my partner Jan in this particular issue is very simple. Founders go first. I mean, founders first, always. And no, this is it. This is our philosophy. We try to help founders first, and we don't mind being second thing or third thing, whatever. We are okay to be on the second row, helping them, supporting them in any way possible. That doesn't include necessarily only money. It does include our involvement with the company, both in structuring and managing it, trying to network for them, trying to open the doors for them. Sometimes hiring for them, sometimes vice versa, firing people for them, and then we do a lot more than any other VCs in our understanding, because we are the founders from the background.
Yeah.
So before the investments, before the anything, myself and Jean had at least 5, 6 different ventures in between two of us. We've done exits, we've failed a lot. He liked to call it successful failures. Successful because we learn a lot from that, hopefully. So we've definitely had experience as founders before. We understand how lonely, how harsh, and how difficult it might be in that particular journey. Therefore, we try to play more active than usual role in the founders' destiny and the startup's destiny. Try helping as much as we can, and it's not about money. We definitely know it's not about money. One way or another, they will
Yeah.
raise with or without us. Good
Yeah.
founders are always better, and they know what to do.
So
Hmm.
what do you think? For the startup side, I guess the biggest support that we provide, also at Domino side, we support the founders. So every VC talk about, do we give connections, we give support to you, but in Domino, I guess we connect them with the customers, we connect them with the global VCs. So in emerging markets, so to reach the customer, to reach the VCs, to raise the money is pretty hard. We know that. So what do you think? What is the best thing that best things, maybe top 3 things, top 4 things that you provide to the founders? From our side, I guess it's connecting with the customers, connecting with the investors. But at your side, because you're also your background to being a founder, so that's why I'm asking this question. So what's the top 3, top 4 things that you provide to the founders in the portfolio?
Well, definitely the preparation work that is necessary for the founder to fundraise successfully is a big chunk of the work that you need to do, especially in the beginning. Uh, we get involved with the marketing campaign. We do help to structure and negotiate it correctly. from a simple exercise of drafting a term sheet together and actually explaining what is what and what does it mean, a drag loan, right? So whatever liquidation preference, even that sometimes is necessary, especially to early stage startups. The assumption is they know better than us, but there are peculiarities and there are terms and there are details in our business that needs to be elaborated and needs to be opened and needs to be discussed with them. And they need to have a very open eyes when they come into a deal and then the next deal and the next round of financing. And each time and every time they
Mhm.
choose somebody that they will need to live a life with, a chunk of their lives. That's the approach and that's the philosophy we share. We're bluntly honest with them. That we can always guarantee. If the situation is bad, we will be there and we'll be talking about it, communicating, but not only in terms of delivering bad news, but also
Mhm.
offering
Mhm.
a solution. That we try to remain consistent with. Fundraising obviously is another thing, but you know, uh, timing is another very very careful consideration for a startup. Uh, you might have a good product, you might have a technology, you might have something genius in place, but timing to the market or the location that you started with or the maturity of the client, there are many things other than money affecting this. So that needs to be communicated and hopefully corrected earlier, both in terms of the approach in marketing research when they actually target their niches, um, and hopefully they're going to get the right clients with our help in the very beginning to do the customer development, which is
Mhm.
another thing. That's how they essentially pivot if needed, change if needed, and develop if needed. Well, you know how it goes with founders. Sometimes they're very stubborn, sometimes they're very touchy, sometimes it's a lot of communication to do,
Yeah.
and we try to be available for them. That's what we try to do.
So in Central Asia, my biggest challenge is sometimes I'm trying to. I mean, I always push founders to spend money because in our culture, I mean, in Turkey we have the same culture, and I mean, it's pretty hard to raise money. So founder realized that okay, this investment round took like 6 months, 7 months, and I'm killing it because it's like
Hmm.
you're trying to earn customer at the same time you are trying to raise money. When you raise money, they don't spend it, they don't burn it. So every week when I meet with them, every month when meet with them, I push them, please burn that money, try something for the growth. So it's like my biggest challenge in Central Asia.
True, 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 true. But I think we are in the verge of getting through that illness
Yeah,
very soon. It's just the availability of the next round of funding,
yeah,
and then availability of the enough players,
yeah.
VC players in place that hopefully will help them to change and grow faster and prioritize growth over sustainability. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Adil. What about Kazakhstan? I mean, in Central Asia and Kazakhstan, we have seen considerably growth about the VC numbers
Hmm.
and startup numbers. Also, startup culture is setting out. I mean, it's like um, uh, everyone aware that okay, there's something technical and the startups and AI is coming, and there also be corporates realizing newly that area. So, what about the
Hmm.
Kazakhstan next 5 years, 10 years? What's your consideration about that? So, also congrats for the new funds of funds. It's a great thing. I guess for the region, it's really important for Kazakhstan. New funds of funds, 1 billion funds of funds. So, what do you think about generally in the Central Asia, and what will the next 5 years, 10 years, what will happen?
Uh, I think the combination of factors played out really well, as you know. The active governmental role and support in many different ways, both in terms of building infrastructure, the right jurisdiction, the right instruments, uh, tax incentives, all that, but also openness and understanding early on that separately one Kazakh market or one Uzbek market or one Kyrgyz market is not enough. We need to present ourselves as one region because there's not much difference between myself and any Uzbek guy or any Kyrgyz for that, or anybody from my region. It's the same people, same language, same culture, same religion, and we are a lot more homogeneous than Europe.
Mhm.
We're a lot more homogeneous than Southeast Asia. We are essentially the same kind of people 80%. Maybe peculiarities are different.
Mhm.
But that was very important to realize that on the political level, there was a lot of support from both governments, or all the governments actually, from any region. That's one thing. Second thing, that talent. Talent is available, but the most importantly, the attitude of the talent. They're very hungry. Our founders are hungry. They don't mind putting extra hours. They don't mind working hard. They know the value of money. There's a little different mentality in that different. It's a first generation people who are making their first steps in the first reaches wealthiness. That's another thing. Where we at now? We've reached certain level of maturity in terms of pre-seed seed funding. We've tried a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. We've made a lot of mistakes. We see that the ecosystem is reaching to the point when it does need extra funding in terms of expansion capabilities, in terms of expanding into new markets, into new niches. And we see the founders are ready to take on all five or whatever seven, countries around the region immediately. And that should be the attitude. If you think about it, it's only 10, maybe 12 cities size of 1 million and above. That's pretty much Central Asia. That includes Caucasus as well, Baku and everything else. If you think about it that way, it's only 3 hours flight anywhere. So that's the mentality we should be promoting, and finally our founders understanding it. Finally, they understand
Yeah.
that earning tenge or som is not enough. There needs to be diversified portfolio of countries and clients.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
funding is a major issue, and we finally addressed it with this new initiative, fund of funds. We've been communicating this to the government, to the institutional investors for last 3 years already. We foresaw it, and we knew it is going to come, and we know the rounds will be bigger. And you could see it in any other markets that came in earlier. It's all the same. We are repeating certain trends and certain patterns. So we were asking for this support, and I'm happy that the government is hearing that, both in Kazakhstan and in Uzbekistan as well, and in Azeri market as well. And you probably saw it and felt it. The region is connected, a lot more connected than it was before 5 years ago. Doors are more open. People are willing and considering co-investing. We have in our portfolio, we have at least 7 deals co-invested with Uzbek partners, Uzbek VCs, all across. I mean, not only in the region but also in the US. We have now angel communities funded, and then they've been working since 2018. 2019, I've established the first angel investor community in Astana. It transferred into Umay, and then now it's an MA7. Murat Abdurrahmanov pushing it, but it's not only
Yeah.
him. It's
Yeah.
also a bunch of them in Dushanbe, in Tashkent, and in Bishkek, everywhere. People fly. I went to Baku like 3 times. Tashkent, I go every quarter. Bishkek, the same. All these meetings are important because we share. The culture of venture capital is always open, and that's the best thing ever can happen. I love it because we can share, we can teach each other, we learn each other. So it's the funding now. It's the funding. We need more funding. You will see and you will
Yeah.
hear a lot more coming from the region. A lot more unicorns coming. Five years, you will see. Well, gazelles at least easy. I mean, we can produce 10 companies easy. That is valuation 100 million and above. But you will see more coming from there. You have 4 unicorns now in the region already within last 3 years. Whatever, Kaspi,
Yeah.
Freedom, InDrive, and Uzum already. You will have more.
Yeah.
You'll have more. I
Yeah.
guarantee you'll have more. But more so, you will hear a lot more founders abroad.
Yeah.
US
Yeah.
market, European market, Southeast Asian market. It's perfect.
Yeah.
The horde started to move. When Turks start to move,
Yeah.
empires are established, historically proven.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen
Yes,
now.
I do. Yeah. Yeah. So you said I guess we need more success stories at the founder side. Also, diaspora founders are pretty important. So 5 months, 6 months. Also, I'm considering too much to meet with the diaspora founders, because I know that they're from Turkey. Turkish diaspora is strong, but also Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan diaspora is strong because culturally, at this past years, we have the same. I mean, culture and the problems about them in generally
True,
socially.
true.
So that's why, yes, our smart guys, some of them, I mean, choose to stay in the country, which is okay, but some of them choose to go away and educate there. So they created their own business there, and diaspora founder, it's pretty important. So we need more success stories. We need more capital. So how about LP side? I wonder that because also as a domino now we are having new LPs in the Central Asia, but I see that it's not easy because the corporates are they're not creating new CVCs. The corporates are a little bit far away to being a LP, and generally the government organizations they're investing funds of funds in Kazakhstan, new funds of funds creating in Uzbekistan also. So what do you think about generally LP side? What's your consideration? How was it? Because you raised money from the region. So how was the challenges? I wonder this kind of process from your side.
So, as you understand, the money is new here in the region. It's a second generation money at most. It's
Yeah.
not like an old market like Turkey when you have families that have been there forever, like Koç or whatever, uh, Sabancı, whatever you name it. This is not the case. This is second generation, at most, second generation commercial money. I'm putting aside all the governmental institutions. So, so essentially, what's happening is that the first generation came from a traditional types of businesses are on the verge of preparing the second generation to take over the reins, and that generation is a lot more prepared, a lot more global. And if it's our task is to establish these relations early on, it's our task to be able to communicate it and educate it if needed about this particular type of investment because it's just one small part of their portfolio. As soon as they understand that this is just a small part of alternative investment portfolio, it's a lot easier to communicate from there on with any institutional. This is a family office, which I don't necessarily call an institutional investor. It's a little different story, but the advantages of this is that you can establish long-term relations, and it's a lot closer with your LPs than with institutionals. Institutionals tend to be more bureaucratic, and you spend a lot more time doing something with them. But then they give you a lot more credibility, and if you do everything right, you can raise from the same institution several times, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But then they
Yeah.
also tend to have changes of bureaucrats or managers in place. Then that takes time to reestablish, and then they reorganize and all stuff like that. So it is challenging, but then at the same time, it's happening faster than I thought. It's people are willing to learn, people are willing to do experiments, and I can see it's getting faster and faster. In Kazakhstan and Uzbek market, banks will be driving force behind the whole thing. Is and will be mostly because of the Kaspi and Freedom and the example. And I know that at least four Kazakh banks are working on the CVCs now, and one of them have registered already an arm, which means that they will be investing actively and they will be eventually doing an M&A deals because banks are banks, and they will not be able to ensure the speed and then flexibility and that can be only achieved through a startup into certain niches and into certain ecosystems. And it's a lot easier to just buy the teams by acquiring or buying the technology, etc. You will hear more about exits from their own, and Freedom have shown it already. Similar story will happen in Uzbek market, driven by the banks because they see the numbers. It's easier for them to discuss, and because of the peculiarities of the developing markets, everything starts with e-commerce, followed by the fintech, followed by data, and only then we'll come to the point when we finally can do some deep tech related stuff. This is the pattern that happens everywhere in the world in emerging markets, mostly because of the low legacy technology industries. which is fine. We can skip that part. We can, jump into digital faster. Uh, yeah, so that's the patterns we have here, and it will continue developing. There is no way around it. Uh, but you will see more and more companies and founders coming to the world because still the markets are limited in terms of GDP per capita, purchasing power,
Yeah.
certain risks associated with the geography and locations and currencies and etc. etc. So you will hear more about Kazakh, Uzbek, Kyrgyz, Azeri founders all over the place, winning and raising and closing best rounds and becoming unicorn founders.
Great,
Very soon, very soon. 5 years, you will hear
great,
more and more. Yeah.
great. Thanks, Adil. You had great snapshot of the ecosystem. So my question is, this is my last question, and I will pass my yes or I mean the quick question stage. But what is your biggest red flag on the startups? I mean, sometimes you know that when you hear that in the second or third meeting, when you hear that word, it's done. So I mean, it's a red flag. Like for me, for example, it's like I have other startup. I have maybe if you don't invest this, you can invest this. I mean, I have other startup. This word is I'm red flag for my red flag, for example. So what is your red flag in the meeting? So when you hear that word, okay, I'm done, I'm quit. So what's the word of I mean generally red flags of you for the startup investment?
Um, Most important red flag that I pay attention to is misalignment of co-founders' objectives, and you will hear that a lot, and that is a red flag for me because you gotta be looking at the same way and have the same values and have the same expectations and goals. That's the biggest because then it will lead to a conflict, and that's the biggest risk that I always see, and I tend to pay attention
Mhm.
mostly. In any kind of fraud or uh, any kind of lies, any kind of overselling, also not good. I prefer an honest conversation with the person that will tell me exactly what's happening and say, okay, here's the deal. I don't
Yeah.
like to be lied, and I don't like to be, I can always check on it, either by talking to clients, the partners, the investors. There are many ways to double check, and the numbers they don't lie neither. So if that's the case, that's another thing. That's no go, regardless. Then whatever happens afterwards, it doesn't matter. I just don't follow up. Just don't do it. Yeah.
Super. Super. I totally agree with you, by the way. Adil, thank you so much. All of your, I mean, time. Now it's options question. This is my yes or no or two options question. I will give you two options quickly, and you will choose one. Okay? Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Super. Global from day one or local first?
Global day one.
Fast growth or sustainable growth?
Fast growth. Yeah.
Super. Technical founder or business founder? Choose one. Technical founder or business founder?
Uh, Technical founder, I guess. Technical founder. Yeah.
Bootstrapped or angel round?
Ideally bootstrapped. Ideally.
Super. Super. Remote first, remote first teams or office based teams?
Office space teams.
Super. Founders with exits or first time founders?
Yeah, founders with exits, of course. I mean, yeah,
Founder market fit or product market fit?
founder market fit, always founder.
Super. 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 Thank you, Adil.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. It was a challenging part in our conversation. It is great to see you. And I guess end of this month we will see each other on the Bishkek
yeah,
for the startup venture It will be great to see you face to face. Thank you for your all of your approach and the ideas and the snapshot of the ecosystem. Hope that we will, I mean, collaborate more, because in the region the VCs should collaborate more and co-invest together, and help each other also like founders. Thanks so much.
Yep, likewise. Fun talking to you. I'll see you in Bishkek. Uh,
Thank
Hopefully, we spend more time and close couple deals together.
Super, super. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
it will be great. See you.
yeah.
Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.